The void between stars held many secrets, but chief researcher Zach Still had never expected to find one quite like this. From the observation deck of the research vessel Eternal Seeker, the alien scientist watched as their scanners detected an artificial construct drifting through the darkness of deep space, far from any charted civilization. Impossible, Zach Still whispered, their crystalline appendages shifting colors in surprise. The vessel ahead shouldn't have been operational. By all known laws of engineering, it should have failed centuries ago. Yet there it was, its hull scarred by micro-impacts and cosmic radiation, but undeniably active. The unknown ship's design was crude by galactic standards, all sharp angles and exposed structural elements, with none of the elegant biomimetic curves favored by modern spacefaring races. But what caught Zach Still's attention wasn't its primitive appearance, but rather the readings emanating from within. Life signs, strong ones. Begin contact protocols, Zach Still ordered, their voice resonating through the ship's crystal-grown communications network. But maintain safe distance. We don't know what we're dealing with. The response came almost immediately. A transmission, carried on primitive electromagnetic waves, reached their sensors. The language was unknown, but the pattern was unmistakably artificial, intelligent. It took their most advanced translation matrices several hours to decode even the basics of the transmission. When they finally did, Zach Still's crystalline form pulsed with shock. We are the crew of the generation ship Hope's Horizon. We carry the legacy of Earth. We seek new horizons. Earth. The name meant nothing to Zach Still, but the implications of a generation ship were staggering. Someone had launched this vessel knowing that those who started the journey would never see its end. Multiple generations had lived and died aboard this vessel, maintaining it, keeping its systems running, preserving their culture and knowledge across the stars. When the first visual contact was established, Zach Still found themselves facing a creature unlike any in the known galaxy. The being had no crystalline structures, no photosynthetic organs, no natural defenses visible to their sensors. Instead, it stood on two legs, with soft pink-brown external tissue and a curious growth of protein strands on its head. I am Captain Sarah Chen, 7th-generation commander of Hope's Horizon, the creature said through the now-functioning translator. We've traveled for over 200 years, seeking habitable worlds. 200 years, in a ship that should have fallen apart after 50. Zach Still's scientific curiosity overwhelmed their caution. How have you maintained your vessel's systems for so long? They asked. The human's face moved in an expression their xenologists would later identify as a smile. We adapt. We fix things. When parts wear out, we fabricate new ones. When systems fail, we find ways to make them work again. It's what humans do. Over the next several days, as the two ships maintained position in the void, Zach Still learned the incredible truth about these humans. They came from a world that should have been impossible to evolve on. A heavy-gravity death trap with extreme temperature variations, constant meteorological violence, and enough background radiation to concern even the hardiest of known species. But what truly astonished Zach Still wasn't just their survival, it was their drive. These humans hadn't just endured their harsh world. They had thrived on it. When their planet began to fail due to their own technological advancement, they didn't surrender to extinction. Instead, they built ships like Hope's Horizon, launching their seeds to the stars. Your people chose to face the unknown rather than accept their fate, Zach Still observed during one of their many conversations with Captain Chen. Why? Because that's what humanity does, Chen replied, that curious smile appearing again. We push boundaries. We explore. We refuse to accept limitations. Even when we fail, we learn from it and try again. It's not just about survival. It's about moving forward, always forward. As Zach Still prepared their report for the Galactic Council, they found their crystalline hands trembling slightly. These humans weren't just another spacefaring species to be cataloged and studied. They represented something unprecedented in known space, a species that had evolved not despite adversity, but because of it. Their very existence challenged everything the galactic community thought they knew about survival, adaptation, and the limits of possibility. The report would shake the foundations of galactic society, but Zach still knew it was just the beginning. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and nothing would ever be quite the same again. In their private research logs, Zach still added one final note. "We have long wondered if we were alone in our quest to understand the universe. Today, I discovered we are not alone. We have found kindred spirits among the stars. The humans may look nothing like us, may think in ways we cannot fully comprehend, but in their relentless drive to explore and understand, they are our brothers and sisters in curiosity. The galaxy has become a much more interesting place." The news of humanity's discovery spread through the Galactic Council like a quantum wave, causing both excitement and concern. Within the great crystalline chamber of the Council's central spire, representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered to address what many saw as a potential crisis. High Counselor Vexnar, their iridescent form towering over the assembly, called the emergency session to order. "We face an unprecedented situation. These humans have survived conditions that our simulations deemed impossible. More concerning, they've maintained sophisticated technology under extreme duress for generations. The question before us is clear. What place can such a species have in our carefully balanced society?" From their observer's position, Captain Sarah Chen watched the proceedings with diplomatic calm, though her heart raced. The fate of humanity's integration into the wider galaxy hung in the balance. Beside her, Zach still shifted nervously, their crystalline form reflecting the chamber's ambient light in anxious patterns. "They should be tested," called out the Regelian representative, their vacuum-adapted form pulsing with electromagnetic signals of distrust. "If they are to join our society, let them prove their worth." The chamber erupted in agreement, and Chen felt a familiar sensation, the weight of expectations pressing down on her shoulders. It was a weight humans had carried since leaving Earth. "We accept any trial you deem appropriate," Chen declared, her voice carrying through the translation field. The chamber fell silent, not expecting such ready agreement. The trial, when it came, was threefold. First, a test of physical endurance in environments that would challenge even the hardiest species. Second, a test of technological adaptation and problem-solving. Third, and most crucial, a test of ethical judgment and cooperation. The physical trial took place on Nexus Vivi, a heavy-gravity world with a toxic atmosphere. While other species required extensive protective gear, the humans' Earth-evolved physiology allowed them to operate with minimal protection. The sight of human engineers working in conditions that would crush most species sent ripples of astonishment through the watching council. Their muscular density and skeletal structure, one xenobiologist observed, it's as if they evolved specifically for hostile environments. The technological trial proved even more revealing. Given a deliberately malfunctioning piece of ancient alien technology, the human team didn't just repair it, they improved it. Using what they called jerry-rigging, they created solutions that the original designers had never conceived. They don't just follow procedures, Zach still noted in their report. They innovate in real time, treating technical limitations as suggestions rather than absolute barriers. But it was the final trial that truly changed the Council's perspective. Presented with a complex diplomatic scenario involving multiple competing interests, the humans demonstrated something unexpected: empathy coupled with pragmatism. Chen and her team worked tirelessly, not just to solve the problem, but to understand the underlying needs of each party involved. They drew on their own history of overcoming divisions, of finding unity in the face of extinction, to broker compromises that seemed impossible. You see, Zach still addressed the Council as the trials concluded. What makes humans unique isn't just their physical capabilities or their technological ingenuity. It's their ability to face challenges as opportunities for growth. They don't just survive. They learn, adapt, and help others do the same. The Council chamber buzzed with discussion. High Counselor Vexnar raised their primary appendage for silence. We have witnessed something remarkable. These humans carry within them the very qualities our society needs as we face an ever-expanding universe. They are not just survivors of a death world. They are teachers of survival itself. Chen stood before the council, her posture straight but her expression humble. We don't claim to be superior, she stated clearly. We simply offer what we have learned through our struggles, that the greatest strength comes not from avoiding challenges, but from facing them together. The vote, when it came, was nearly unanimous. Humanity would be welcomed into the galactic community not as primitives to be uplifted, but as equals who had earned their place among the stars. As the session concluded, Zack still approached Chen with what she had learned to recognize as their version of excitement. Your people have done more than pass a trial, they said. You've begun to change how the galaxy thinks about strength itself. Chen smiled, thinking of the generations of humans who had maintained hope through their long journey through space. That's the thing about strength, she replied. It's not about being unbreakable. It's about being able to rebuild yourself, no matter how many times you break. And now we can help others learn to do the same. The emergency alert pierced through the tranquility of the Galactic Council's main research station, its crystalline corridors pulsing with urgent red light. Dr. Maya Patel, Earth's chief xenobiologist, looked up from her work as the station's AI announced, "Critical situation detected in the Helia sector. All senior personnel report to Emergency Command." Within minutes, the command center filled with representatives from across the galaxy. High Counselor Vexnar's hologram materialized at the center of the room, their usually brilliant crystalline form dimmed with concern. The colony world of New Genesis is facing imminent catastrophe, Vexnar announced. A chain reaction in their planetary core is causing unprecedented geological instability. We have less than 72 hours before the planet becomes uninhabitable. The assembled aliens began discussing evacuation protocols, but Maya noticed something in the data streaming across her terminal. "Wait," she called out, her voice cutting through the chamber. "The conditions on New Genesis, they're almost exactly like what we faced during Earth's final days." The room fell silent. In the 3 years since humanity's integration into galactic society, they had shared much of their history, but the final days of Earth remained a sensitive topic. "Elaborate," Vexnar commanded. Maya stood, her dark eyes intense with purpose. The geological instability, the atmospheric deterioration pattern. We've seen this before. We didn't just survive it. We developed technologies to combat it. They weren't enough to save Earth, but with current galactic tech levels. You believe we could stabilize New Genesis? Zack Still, now the chief liaison for human affairs, asked. "Not just stabilize it," Maya replied, her fingers flying over the holographic interface. "We could reverse the damage. But we'll need a team willing to work in conditions that most species would consider unsurvivable." The solution became clear, a joint mission combining human expertise with advanced alien technology. Within hours, a team of human specialists was assembled, led by Maya and supported by the most advanced AI systems the Council could provide. The scene on New Genesis was chaos incarnate. The ground shook constantly, venting toxic gases into an already poisoned atmosphere. Temperatures swung wildly between extremes that would kill most sentient species. But for the humans, it felt eerily familiar. "Just like home," muttered James Chen, Sarah's brother and the team's chief engineer, as he calibrated their core stabilization equipment. The comet drew shocked looks from their alien observers, safe in their heavily shielded command center. The human team worked tirelessly, their Earth-evolved bodies allowing them to endure conditions that would have required extreme protective measures for other species. They moved through toxic clouds, braved extreme temperatures, and handled radiation levels that would have killed most galactic citizens. "It's remarkable," one alien scientist observed. "The very conditions that made Earth a death world have given them abilities we never imagined possible. They're not just surviving these conditions, they're thriving in them." The operation reached its critical phase as the team deployed a network of stabilization cores deep within the planet's crust. The technology was a fusion of human experience and alien advancement, primitive in some ways, revolutionary in others. "This is what humanity does best," Maya explained to the watching council members. "We take what we've learned through hardship and turn it into solutions. We don't just endure, we adapt, improve, and overcome." As the final core activated, the planet's seismic activity began to stabilize. The toxic atmosphere started to clear. What had seemed like an inevitable disaster was transformed into a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. But the true impact of their success went far beyond saving one world. The galaxy had witnessed firsthand how humanity's Deathworld disadvantage had become their greatest strength. Their experience with environmental catastrophe, their ability to function in hostile conditions, their innate drive to protect and preserve life. All of it marked them as unique among spacefaring species. In the aftermath, as the team recovered and New Genesis began its healing process, Zach still approached Maya with a question that had been bothering them. "Your people could have used this knowledge as leverage, demanded special status or privileges. Why share it freely?" Maya smiled, watching through a viewport as the planet's storms began to calm. "Because that's not who we are. Yes, Earth taught us to be strong, to survive against impossible odds. But it also taught us that real strength comes from helping others. We didn't survive our death world just to watch others suffer what we did." The mission to New Genesis marked a turning point in galactic history. Humanity's reputation transformed from curiosities of evolution to essential allies in facing the universe's harshest challenges. Their Deathworld heritage, once seen as a mark of primitive origins, became recognized as a crucible that had forged something extraordinary. As Maya filed her final report on the mission, she added a personal note. "Perhaps this is why we survived Earth's trials. Not just to preserve our own species, but to ensure that what we learned through our struggles could help prevent others from facing the same fate. In the end, our greatest advantage isn't our physical adaptations or our technological knowledge. It's our determination to use what we've learned to make the galaxy a better place for all." The Galactic Council's emergency alert system had never activated simultaneously across all sectors before. When it did, the message was brief but terrifying. "Unknown entities detected entering galaxy. All natural laws appear compromised in their wake." Admiral Sarah Chen, now serving as humanity's representative on the Council's Defense Committee, studied the holographic display with growing concern. The entities, if they could be called that, defied conventional physics. They moved through space like oil through water, leaving reality itself distorted in their passage. "They're breaking down the fundamental forces that hold matter together," reported Dr. Kenzo Yamamoto, Earth's leading quantum physicist. "Wherever they pass, the very fabric of space-time begins to unravel." The council chamber erupted in panic. Species that had evolved in stable environments struggled to comprehend a threat to reality itself. But the humans in the room remained oddly calm, their expressions focused rather than fearful. "We've seen something like this before," Chen announced, silencing the chamber. "Not exactly the same, but similar. During the Earth exodus, we encountered quantum anomalies that nearly destroyed our generation ships. We learned to adapt then. We can adapt now." The solution Chen proposed was unprecedented. A unified response protocol combining the unique abilities of every major species in the galaxy. It wasn't just about fighting back. It was about understanding and containing a threat that defied conventional physics. "The crystalline collective can detect and map quantum distortions," she explained. "The Rigelians can survive in the vacuum needed for close observation. The Mentarians can process complex data patterns faster than any computer. And humans." "And humans," High Counselor Vexnar prompted. "We can improvise." Chen smiled grimly. "When everything goes wrong, when none of the established protocols work, humans find a way to keep going. That's what we bring to this fight." The Unity Protocol, as it came to be known, marked the first time in galactic history that every spacefaring race worked in perfect concert. Crystalline ships formed the front line, their natural resonance detecting spatial distortions. Rigelian observers moved through the void, gathering crucial data. Mentarian processing centers analyzed the information in real time. And at the heart of it all, human tactical teams coordinated the response, their natural ability to think outside established parameters proving crucial as they faced an enemy that ignored the rules of reality itself. The entities aren't attacking us, Dr. Yamamoto realized during one crucial battle. They're trying to reshape our galaxy to match their own physics. They're not invaders, they're terraformers on a cosmic scale. This insight changed everything. The Unity protocol shifted from defense to communication. Human linguistic experts worked with Mentarian data processors to establish contact. The crystalline collective provided the medium, their natural resonance serving as a bridge between incompatible forms of reality. The breakthrough came not through advanced technology or overwhelming force, but through human diplomatic skills combined with alien expertise. The entities, they discovered, hadn't realized our galaxy was inhabited by sentient life. Their process of reality reformation was automatic, instinctive, and once they understood its impact, they were willing to negotiate. This is why we needed everyone, Chen explained to the council afterward. No single species could have solved this alone. The crystallines couldn't have interpreted the data without the Mentarians. The Rigelians couldn't have gathered it without the crystallines' guidance. And none of us could have adapted fast enough without human flexibility. The crisis passed, but its impact on galactic society was permanent. The Unity Protocol became the foundation for a new approach to galactic cooperation. Species that had once kept to themselves now sought out opportunities to combine their unique abilities. Perhaps this was the true test. Zack still mused during the victory celebration. Not whether we could fight together, but whether we could learn to trust each other enough to combine our strengths. Chen watched as humans and aliens mingled freely, sharing stories and insights from the crisis. That's the real power of humanity, she replied. Not our ability to survive hardship, but our drive to bring people together. On Earth, we had to learn that lesson the hard way. Out here, we finally have the chance to get it right from the start. The Unity Protocol remained active long after the crisis ended, evolving into a framework for interspecies cooperation that transformed galactic society. Humanity's role wasn't to lead or dominate, but to serve as bridges, adaptable intermediaries, who could help different species combine their unique abilities in ways nobody had imagined before. In the end, humanity's greatest contribution to the galaxy wasn't their strength or their resilience. It was their ability to see unity in diversity, to find ways to turn different perspectives and abilities into shared solutions for common challenges. 50 years after first contact, the galactic landscape had transformed beyond recognition. From the observation deck of humanity's new headquarters on the Galactic Hub, Admiral Sarah Chen, now in her final year of service, watched ships of all species moving through the celestial dance of arrival and departure. Below her, in the sprawling complex that had once been just a simple docking station, humans worked alongside aliens of every description. Young officers from Earth learned crystalline navigation techniques from collective mentors, while Rigelian engineers studied human improvisation methods. Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this? Zack still asked, their crystalline form now bearing the ornate patterns of a High Council member. Time had changed them both, but their friendship had only grown stronger. Honestly. No, Chen laughed. When we left Earth, we were just hoping to survive. Now look at us. We're helping reshape the galaxy. The changes were everywhere. Human adaptability had revolutionized spacecraft design, leading to vessels that could reconfigure themselves based on mission requirements. Earth's harsh evolutionary lessons had inspired new approaches to colonizing previously uninhabitable worlds. Even the Galactic Council itself had been transformed, adopting a more flexible, adaptive approach to governance. But the most profound change wasn't technological, it was cultural. The barriers between species had begun to break down, not through any formal process, but through countless small interactions. Humans' natural curiosity and ability to find common ground had sparked a renaissance of interspecies cooperation. The Unity Academy is graduating its largest class yet, Zach Still noted, referring to the institution that had grown from the success of the Unity Protocol. Over 30 species represented, all training together to face whatever challenges the universe might present. Chen smiled, remembering the early days when such cooperation seemed impossible. You know what the strangest part is? We're not special anymore. And that's exactly what we hoped for. Other species have learned to adapt like we do, to think outside their traditional boundaries. We didn't make them more human. We helped them discover their own versions of resilience. The evidence was everywhere. Crystalline ships now incorporated organic components, inspired by human bioengineering. Rigelian void dwellers had developed new techniques for environmental adaptation based on human survival strategies. Even the traditionally isolated Mentarians had begun sending representatives to other worlds, seeking to understand different perspectives firsthand. There's something I've never told you, Zach Still said suddenly. When we first found your ship, many on the Council feared you would be like the ancient warrior races from our histories, Deathworld species that tried to dominate through force. Instead, you taught us that strength can be gentle, that adaptation doesn't have to mean conquest. Chen's attention was drawn to a group of children, human and alien, playing in one of the hub's recreation areas. They were engaged in what appeared to be a modified version of an old Earth game, adapted to account for their different physical capabilities. That's our real legacy, she said softly. Not the technology or the survival techniques, but the understanding that diversity makes us stronger. Earth taught us that lesson through hardship. Out here, we got to teach it through cooperation. A notification chimed softly. Another generation ship had been detected, this one from a previously unknown species facing their own planetary crisis. The response was immediate and coordinated. Crystalline sensors mapped their approach, Mentarian processors analyzed their communications, Rigelian scouts prepared for close observation, and human diplomatic teams stood ready to welcome them. Ready to welcome another species to our fascinating galactic family. Chen asked her old friend. Zach Still's crystalline form sparkled with amusement. As your people say, bring it on. As they moved to meet the newcomers, Chen reflected on the long journey that had brought humanity to this point. They had lost Earth, but in doing so, they had found something greater, not just a place among the stars, but a way to help the galaxy itself evolve. The legacy of Earth lived on, not in monuments or memories, but in the way it had taught its children to face adversity with hope, to meet difference with curiosity, and to turn survival into an art of cooperation rather than competition. In the end, humanity's greatest achievement wasn't surviving their death world. It was helping the galaxy understand that every world, every species, had something vital to contribute to their shared future. As the new ship approached the hub, Chen smiled at the thought of what its inhabitants might teach them. After all, that was the greatest lesson humanity had learned in their journey through the stars. There was always something new to learn, always another boundary to push, always another hand to extend in friendship. The story of humanity among the stars was far from over. In many ways, it was just beginning.